Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to unlock a totally new way of seeing the world and, just as importantly, your place in it. If you're just starting out with sociology, maybe you're in class 11, then this is absolutely for you. Let's dive into what makes this subject so cool. So, have you ever had that feeling, that knot in your stomach when you think about the future? Picking subjects, figuring out a career, it can honestly feel like the weight of the entire world is sitting right on your shoulders, and yours alone. You're not the only one, trust me. But what if I told you that all that personal stress is actually connected to something way, way bigger? Sociology has this incredible idea that what feels like a purely individual problem is really tangled up with the society you're living in. Okay, let's really get into that. We're going to look at how society, often in ways we don't even see, shapes some of the most personal decisions we make, like what job to aim for, or even which subjects to pick for your final years of school. Yeah, we hear it all the time, right? Success is all about hard work. But sociologists, they see this much bigger picture where these huge social forces are kind of pulling the strings. Things like the job market, your family's history, what society expects from you based on your gender, and all those unwritten rules, they all influence the choices you even think are possible. So, how in the world do we start to see these hidden forces? How do we connect our own lives to these massive patterns? Well, sociology gives us a special tool for that. And honestly, it's a total game changer. It's a brilliant idea from a sociologist named C. Wright Mills. Think of this sociological imagination like putting on a new pair of glasses. All of a sudden, you can see the invisible line, connecting your personal life, your individual story, to the big currents of history and the entire structure of society. And this right here, this just nails the whole idea. That personal feeling of being confused about what subjects to pick, it isn't just your private confusion. It's actually a mirror reflecting a much bigger public issue. Things like a shaky job market, tons of pressure from parents, and a super competitive education system. You see, you're not alone in feeling this way, because the feeling itself is a symptom of a larger social reality. All right, so now that we have this new way of seeing things, let's explore how it's totally different from our everyday understanding of the world, or what we might just call common sense. It's so easy to think that sociology is just saying things that are, well, obvious. But there's a massive difference. Common sense comes from our own limited experiences and beliefs, and let's be real, those can be biased or just plain wrong. Sociology, on the other hand, doesn't just assume, it investigates. It's built on hard evidence and systematic study. And check out this table, it breaks it all down perfectly. Look at the basis. Sociology is all about facts, while common sense runs on personal feelings. And the approach? Sociology is methodical, it's empirical, whereas common sense can be pretty stereotypical and is never really tested. The goal is different too. Sociology wants to explain why things are the way they are, while common sense just kind of shrugs and accepts how things seem to be. I absolutely love this quote from the sociologist Peter Berger. It just captures the whole scientific mindset you need. A sociologist has to be almost like a detective, just observing how people actually behave and reporting the facts without letting their own opinions get in the way. Okay, so you've got the mindset. Now, let's give you a few basic tools from the sociological toolkit. These are the core concepts that'll help us take society apart and see how it works. Seriously, think of these as keys that can unlock the really complex stuff about our social world. Once you get a handle on them, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Let's quickly run through three of the most important ones: social groups, social institutions, and culture. First up, social groups. These are the absolute basic building blocks of our social lives. Just think about it for a second. Your family, your friend group, your classmates. We live our entire lives as part of these different groups, and they all shape who we are and how we act. Next, we've got social institutions. Now, if groups are the building blocks, then institutions are like the giant blueprints that structure our whole existence. I mean, think about how the institution of education organizes your entire day, or how the economy shapes your future. They're the established, powerful systems of society. And finally, culture. Here's a cool way to think about it. If institutions are the hardware of society, then culture is the software that runs on it. It's everything: the shared beliefs, the customs, the unwritten rules, all the stuff that guides our behavior and gives our lives meaning. So let's get to the bottom line. What can you actually do with all this? Why should you care about groups, institutions, and culture? It all comes down to one word: empowerment. This isn't just about living in the world anymore, it's about actively understanding it. This toolkit helps you see all the complex layers of society and gives you the ability to ask why things are the way they are. Take a complex society like India, for example. Sociology helps us see that we don't just belong to one single group. Our identity is layered. We're shaped by our nation, our religion, our language, our community, all at the very same time. Sociologists call this coexistence of multiple identities pluralities. And once we see these pluralities, we can get a much clearer picture of the deep inequalities that exist between different groups. As the economist Amartya Sen points out here, inequality isn't just about money. It pops up everywhere: in access to education, in social status, in political power, and even in how the law treats you. So, in the end, this isn't just some abstract knowledge for an exam. It's a real practical skill for navigating our incredibly complex world. It helps you understand the news headlines, the debates happening in your own community, and even your own life in a much deeper, more critical way. And so, we'll leave you with that question. Now that you have the tools, what's the first social rule you're going to question? Because really, that's what sociology gives you the power to